And we start looking at each other like, man, this is not sustainable.
What have we gotten ourselves
Yeah.
into?
But we also have to grow the business enough to bring somebody on, to hire an assistant, to have a front desk person to do all these things. And I think anybody that's in a business probably wonders, and I think, I don't know if we're doing this right or wrong, but like, when can you afford to bring somebody on versus when can you afford not to, right?
I think that's the bigger question.
Right, yeah, and we're very much in the middle of that right now. RT, so we're also kind of in this transition where RT is in the Army Reserves, and he has found out that he's going to be deployed for several months next year. So we're kind of figuring out what's going to happen with New Orleans and our practice, and hopefully we'll be able to bring on some really stellar therapists to cover our great patients in New Orleans. But yeah, there's a lot on our plate right now that we're still kind of juggling.
Yeah, and then that's when you're in that solopreneur or partnerpreneur phase, it's tough to see that ability to expand, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do we get more of us in the door, but then also how do we make sure we have enough to pay them as they're coming in the doors? I mean, that's an ever continuing juggling act you have to face, but it's like that back office is so important to build up and achieve, so you can have more time patient facing within your practice. You know, we're bringing in X number a month. Okay, if I bring in somebody else and they make and they're able to produce half of that, well, now I can go out and produce even more. You know, or even how many hours a day am I spending working back office that I'm not seeing patients? I'm not profit producing. Okay. Now that becomes worth it if I'm doing 4 out of my 8 hours in back office, charting, billing, invoicing, what have you, and I can bring somebody in for X number of dollars. I now have 4 hours I can be more productive and bring in more revenue. Well, now that justifies it, you know.
These are light bulbs that should have gone off a long time ago for me, that just, you know, it was right before we left New Orleans, and I knew I was going to open in Baton Rouge, that it really hit home. RT and I were sitting in our clinic, and we had a share space with some personal trainers there. And this personal trainer was seeing this girl who does work in New Orleans, and she was just like, I'm exhausted, I'm run ragged. She runs her own business. She does like entertainment and costumes and these things. And the personal trainer was like, you have too much business for you to handle. You need to hire somebody. And she said, yeah, but I just don't trust anybody to do what I do. And for me, it was like, that's me. That sounds like a me problem, because that would be my excuse a lot of times, right? And the reality is that if I bring somebody on that I trust and show them the ropes, they'll probably bring more to the table than I think I bring, you know? And